Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are looking at open stairs. So in a lot of our installations and a lot of the videos that you've seen us doing so far, we have had stairs that are closed, which means they would have walls or a stringer on either side of them. Therefore, when you cut the vinyl, when you cut the nosings, they're going to butt up flush against a wall or a stringer, and you don't have to worry about the sides. But often people will have maybe one or two at the bottom of a staircase that are open on one side, like this example is here. We have a ton of people reaching out and asking us what they should do about that, and so that's why we're making this video here. So you can see we are starting with a riser. We always start our installations at the bottom of a staircase, and you're going to see why as we add the next tread. Basically, the tread that goes on is then going to cover up any gapping at the top of the riser, and that is why we start at the bottom. You will have seen that a fair amount of this PL premium that we use for the installation was put on that bottom step. This is a sample staircase that we are doing, and we move it around a lot. We show it to customers, so we do like it quite adhered. You want to use this zigzag pattern either way, but you could spread it out a little bit if you're just doing it in your own home. So next here we are putting on this tread. So this tread was made out of the flat vinyl, the same vinyl that we use for that riser and the same vinyl that you could use on the flooring at the bottom. This particular one is a 7mm SPC vinyl, so it has that rigid core. And here at Step Up, we have modified it into the nosings. Coming soon, we'll show you a video of how we took those straight noses and cut them into the angles to make this open tread here. But you can see it has the nosing at the front, at the side, and a small piece at the back, so that all of that open sides and angles on that tread are covered. When looking to do the next riser, as we work up the staircase, you can see here, if you simply cut the riser straight, that edge is going to be very ugly and unfinished. And so we don't want to be using that as the one side is open. So making your risers for these open stair treads is different than on your traditional ones. So to start off with, you want to keep your riser longer than you're going to need. Okay, I suggest keeping it as long as possible, but make sure that you have that extra length there, because what you're going to do is you're actually going to peel back the color and wear layer on the top of this edge. So you're going to start in one corner and then go ahead to the other corner and start peeling it back as well. Once you've done that, you're going to continue peeling back both sides towards the middle of the board. You really want to take your time with this. This is sped up a little bit, and especially the first few times, because these are really easy to tear. So just really go slow, take your time, wiggle back and forth towards the middle as you're trying to eventually get that full strip of that color and wear layer peeled back. So we started again on both ends, and we're working towards the middle until we get a good amount of this back. I would say you want at least an inch, depending how thick that rigid core is that you have, which is why we originally told you to keep that riser longer than you're going to need. Once you have it peeled back, we're going to remove this chunk here of the rigid core. So you can use a saw that you have there, obviously making sure to bend back and protect that color and wear layer. That is what we want. And then removing the rest of it here. And there we go. So we've removed that piece of the core that's there, and we are left with this overhang of that color and wear layer. Okay, eventually this is going to be wrapped around. And so what we like to do is remove the underpad that comes on this vinyl. This is not always a necessary step. You're going to have to look at the situation that you have. If you have a particularly thick color and wear layer, you're going to want to go ahead and try to do this, because what it's going to do is it's going to give you a really flush and flat finish when you are installing the riser. If you're wrapping around, like I said, a thicker color and wear layer, it's going to add a bump to the edge here, and that wasn't something that we wanted. However, the backings on these are sometimes easier and sometimes very difficult to be removed. So you're just going to have to make that decision for yourself. Here we've scored it the length that we're going to need, just using a flat tool here to be able to scrape it off as best we can to give ourselves that space. But like I said, this one is optional. Once you are ready to wrap that color and wear layer around, you're going to want to get a heat gun. Okay, it doesn't need a ton of heat here. You definitely don't want to overdo it. So you want to start with a little bit. And you're going to see here in a second that you're actually just going to test it. This is very much done by feel, but you are going to be able to see it in the video as well. So you're going to see here, we gave it a little bit of heat, and then we're just going to pick it up and attempt to, and you see there's that resistance there. You don't want that. So we're going to give it a little bit more heat here. To make sure that it is nice and pliable. Like I said, you don't want to do too much, but you want to have enough that it's nice and flexible and it'll be able to go where you want it. And the key is without it cracking or altering the color and look in any sort of way. So we're ready here, and you're going to notice this difference now. When he picks it up, it's just a lot easier, a lot more pliable, and that's how we want it. So then once it's ready, you're going to work pretty quickly to make sure that it stays warm, and you're going to grab the adhesive that you want to use. We like using the Gorilla Glue Super Glue. This is not an endorsed video by any means. This just happens to be the one that we prefer to use. Generally, we wear gloves when we do this because you really don't want to get super glue on your fingers, or else it's staying on your fingers. But we just didn't happen to in this video. And you want to make sure you get a bit of the adhesive on the front as well, if you like those really clean, crisp corners like we do. So once you have that adhesive on, you're just going to go ahead and wrap that over that wear layer and color over. And this is what's going to give that edge, that beautiful finish when it's installed, because it just looks like the wood grain that's on that color layer wraps all the way around. So you can see here it's starting to get tacky. It does it nice and quick for us. And we can start working on getting this bend nice and firm and wrapped around. So applying pressure at that front, making sure those corners are nice and tight. If you don't have gloves like we didn't at this moment, grab a paper towel or a cloth of some sort to be able to really push down on it and clean up any edges. Hopefully nothing's squeezing out there. And this is how we're going to be going about creating those risers. So obviously it does take a little bit more time and a little bit more effort than on a closed staircase where we could just make our cut and do our install. But look at that, an absolutely beautiful finish. And you're just using another piece of vinyl. So it's the exact same color and it looks the same. Of course, when you go to install it, you want to make sure you have that edge that you just spent so much time creating on the outside and not on the inside. I know it seems silly, but when you get going on these, it can happen. So make sure that you line it up exactly how you want it, and then just lay it down right in place there, and you can apply your adhesive. We like to use the PL Premium adhesives for our stair installations. We've tried many different ones. Again, this video is not endorsed in any means. This is just off of our 5 years of experience doing these installations of what we find work. It does take time to adhere. We generally suggest trying to stay off of the stairs for at least 24 hours for this to fully adhere, but it is tacky fairly quickly and it can be held in place. So we're just going to get this in place and you do have some flexibility to move it as needed. And there we have it, that beautiful finish there. So our risers, you know, have that nice finished edge. Our tread, of course, has that beautiful finish around the side there. And there's absolutely nothing that you can see that would lead you to believe that this is not a real wood step right here. So as I said, we make these nosings out of pretty much any vinyl plank that you might have or want to be using. And make sure to check out our channel. We have lots of videos with details about different tips and tricks when you are installing and you find yourself in unique situations. And like I said, very soon we'll be posting a video about how to take a traditional one-sided nosing and do the cuts to be able to make this closed cap for an open staircase step. So please, guys, if you found this video helpful, hit that like button to help us with those YouTube algorithms. And please hit that subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.